Hey everyone, it's that great time of year when all the super investors have released what they've been buying and selling for the previous quarter. So today I'm going to do quite a quick video and try to get through about 15 different investors here. So let's just get straight into it and don't worry about much of an introduction here. You know about my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so, watch my other videos, all that stuff. Eddie Lampert bought into Seritage Growth Properties, which other super investors have bought into in the past, so good to see Eddie Lampert buying in as well. Looks like he bought it around $18 or so. The price has actually come back a lot, even further than that. I think it's about 14 or 15 as I'm recording this. So interesting one there. We'll add that to the watch list. Now we're having a look at third point investments from Daniel Loeb, and the big one here is probably the buy into Intel. That's, look, 1,300% increase. So it's pretty much, it's just like a new buy. He's bought a lot of Intel, and also looks like a company called SoFi Technologies. I don't know anything about this company. I'll add it to my list to do a bit of research because he's got nearly 4% of the firm's holdings now in this company, SoFi Technologies. Now I'm having a look at Dennis Hong's portfolio over at SureSpring Partners. And the interesting thing here is that he has sold down of Match Group, which is Tinder, of course, and some other dating websites. Obviously, they think it's overvalued, and I probably agree with that. And they've plowed a lot of that money back into AIC Interactive Corp. I've been trying to do a bit of research into this company, and I haven't got enough done yet to warrant a video, but I'm getting to it, and it's a very interesting company. Vimeo was something that was spun out of AIC in the previous quarter. That's actually not a new buy as such. It's actually just the spin out happening. So let's move on to Punch Card Management over at Norbert Lou. So not many changes ever happen here with Norbert Lou, but it's good to see that he has been adding to his position in Naked Wines. Naked Wines I've just previously done a video on, so please check that out if you want more information on that company. It's a pretty interesting company. All right, then we go have a look at Appaloosa Management with David Tepper. And wow, he has sold out of a huge amount of his positions. I would say looks like nearly all positions have been sold between 20 and 50%. And that's, look, I know some of these big hedge funds and things like that, they take out like 0.5% or something like that for their management fees each quarter. But this isn't management fee related. This is him putting money into cash, essentially. Whether they're thinking of making a big purchase or something, I'm not sure, but this is very interesting. That is significant selling activity here from Appaloosa Management. They bought Uber, but like in comparison to the amount of stuff that they've sold, that's irrelevant. So yeah, very interesting. And then we go have a look at Pershing Square Capital. So this is Bill Ackman, and no bias here, a selling down of Lowe's, which was one of the biggest holdings in his portfolio. But the other sells are probably just the management fee related. Lowe's is the only significant sell here. All right, then we go look at Chuck Akre at Akre Capital Management. And again, this is these little 0.01% numbers here. That's just for management fees and things like that. So don't read too much into that. Probably the interesting buy here is Topicus. So Topicus is on my list of companies that I want to do some research on. It's a spin out of Constellation Software. I've done a video on Constellation Software before. So I'm going to add this back to the list and try to get into that at some point in the next few months, I hope. So this is Seth Klarman, and we've got a selling down of eBay and a buying into a company called Just Eat Takeaway. I don't know what this is. I think it's in the Netherlands, but that's a new purchase there, about 5% of the portfolio. So that's something to add to the list as well. Maybe there's something interesting going on there. Then we've got Chris Hohn over at TCI Fund. And the big one here is probably Canadian National Railway. It's quite a big purchase into this company. He already held this, but he's added nearly 50% stake, 50% increase in this stake. So Canadian National Railway, don't know much about the company. I like railway companies generally. Warren Buffett loves railway companies as well. So maybe there's something here, add it to the list as well. Okay, Pat Dorsey at Dorsey Asset Management. Now, something to note here is he did sell down some of his Facebook and Alphabet stock. I've actually done the same thing, and I actually took the lead from Pat Dorsey a little bit here. I think they were just getting a little overvalued, and I had cheaper things I wanted to buy. The big purchases here, well, we've got Wix, a pretty big addition to Wix, but Walt Disney's a new purchase for him. So That's interesting. That's now quite a large percentage of the portfolio into Walt Disney. I will have a look at that too. Then we have Berkshire Hathaway. So Berkshire Hathaway, the top 7 or 8 stocks, there's been no changes here. There's been a few little adjustments, a few sells, a few buys. Like Kroger was a bit of a buy. General Motors was a bit of a sell. AbbVie was a bit of a sell. But I think the new buys here are a little bit interesting. Whether Warren Buffett's doing this himself, I'm not sure. But I do like that Itochi Group, Itochi Corp, Mitsubishi, and Mitsui, all Japanese companies. So he's obviously finding some value over in Japan. And they've bought 3 new positions into 3 new companies. So Berkshire Hathaway doing some buying in Japan. Pretty interesting, I think. Then we go have a look at Guy Spier at Aquamarine. Guy Spier doesn't make many changes very often at all, like 1 or 2 a year, I think. But the significant thing here is Alibaba Group and Daily Journal. Alibaba Group in particular, following the lead of Mohnish Pabrai, Charlie Munger, and a handful of other guys as well, investing into Alibaba. For Guy Spier to do this as well, whether that's a clone or not, I'm sure he's done the work. Guy Spier definitely researches companies in detail, so I would say that he thinks Alibaba was good buying back in Q2. Then we go have a look at actually Mohnish Pabrai's portfolio, and we see a little bit of a decline in this Edelweiss Financial Services. I assume he was probably freeing up some money to be buying Alibaba and Shinnikin. I have both of these companies in my portfolio now. Shinnikin is actually one of my largest. Alibaba is actually probably going to be my largest if my put options get assigned to me, which is looking very likely at the moment. Alibaba, that's a big chunk, 50% increase into the size of the Alibaba position for Mohnish Pabrai. Price is like $180 at the moment when I'm recording this. So it's still going down. So it's still cheap. If you're interested in Alibaba, please do your work on it. But there's a lot of buying activity going on with Alibaba. This is Li Lu now, and the only change here is he has taken a bit off the BYD. BYD is starting to get a bit overvalued from my perspective, and I think Li Lu probably thinks the same thing. So he's taken a little bit off the table here. Then we've got Michael Burry at Scion Asset Management, and a few new buys here that make up big pieces of the portfolio in Discovery, Ovintiv, and Geo Group. I think Discovery is something interesting. I'm going to add it to the list of something I want to look into a bit more. And then there's a company down here called Scorpio Tankers. Now, for those who follow my channel quite closely, I love the oil tankers. I have a thesis that I'm waiting to play out in the oil tanker space. Michael Burry has just added over 200% to his position in Scorpio Tankers. So that's interesting from my point of view, because he obviously thinks that the thesis is probably on the same track. He thinks Scorpio is the pick. I like DHT and TNK, but look, I like the fact that he's on board with Scorpio Tankers. I didn't get to Andrew Rosenblum's portfolio, but Greentown Management is a very interesting company that he's just done a big write-up on, and I'm going to do some digging into that company as well. But we've got Seritage Growth Properties, Intel, SoFi, AIC, Naked Wines, Topicus, Just Eat Takeaway, Canadian National Railway, Disney, then the Japanese companies of Berkshire Hathaway, Alibaba I've already done a lot of videos on and stuff like that as well. Daily Journal I probably should look into a bit more with Charlie Munger being the president there. Shinnikin, I've already got a big investment in that one already. Discovery is interesting. Scorpio Tankers, I know what the tanker thesis is, so that's fine. And like I said just before, Greentown Management. So I hope you've enjoyed what the super investors have been buying and selling from the previous quarter. I'll do this each quarter moving forward. So this will give us a great list of companies to do research on for the next 3 months. And I think this is a really smart approach because these guys have got decades of experience. They're a lot smarter than you and I. And if they've already bought into these companies and they've filtered them out for us, it's a great place for us to start our research. So also, as you've seen, there's a lot of international companies here. Now, if you want to be able to invest in international companies, you need a brokerage account that's going to allow you to do that. I use Interactive Brokers and Saxo Bank. There's links in the description if you want to have a look at those yourself. That's the best way, in my opinion, to access the international markets. The fees are pretty good as well. So here's our list. Take it for yourself. Hit that like button before you go, and I will see you in the next video.